Good afternoon and welcome on in for another edition of From Day One. The A edition, the courtrooms are ready for us to rock and roll through Dominion. And we usually always start with idiots, morons, and those kind of folks in court, but how about we go with something to show the other side of court? We usually say that a person who represents themselves has a fool as a client. How about we show the rare time when someone who's representing themselves can actually do quite well for themselves? Let's begin.
Good morning. Magistrate Fink will be on in just a few moments. Please make sure your microphones are muted until she calls your case. Also, please make sure we have an identifiable name so we can call your case. So the gentleman in the nice suit and tie, I don't believe you're Sarah.
Yeah, I'm on my girlfriend's laptop. I'm Zach Hines.
You're Zach? All right. I'll take care of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Magistrate will be on in just a few moments.
Okay.
I don't think you're Sarah, my
Pittsfield
sir.
Township versus Zachary Hines.
Yep.
Could you state your name, please?
Zachary Hines.
Mr. Hines, you're here today on a ticket issued to you on March 22nd, 2022 on Carpenter near Washtenaw in Pittsfield Township. The ticket was issued for failing to yield. The penalty for that is $130 in fines and court costs and 2 points on your driving record. It appears that you are eligible to do the driver improvement course through the Secretary of State. So you can admit responsibility or we can have a hearing. What would you like to do?
I would like to have a hearing.
You could.
Very nicely done so far. Now they'll swear him in.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth and nothing but the truth?
It is.
Okay,
Officer Pedlaha will testify first. When he's finished, you can tell me whatever it is you want me to know. When you're ready, go ahead.
Good morning, Your Honor. This was a citation issued as a result of a traffic crash. The accident took place on Carpenter Road south of Washtenaw Avenue. Both vehicles were northbound on Carpenter Road. The Unit 2 vehicle was northbound in the left turn lane. Mr. Hines was northbound in the through lane. And according to both parties, Mr. Hines merged left into the left turn lane and struck Unit 2 on the front passenger side corner with his rear driver's side corner. And so I issued the citation for fail to yield right of way because Unit 2 was already established in the left turn lane. So when he merged left into the lane, he struck the vehicle.
Okay, so maybe this doesn't matter, but since we're talking about it, do we know whether Unit 2 was properly in that lane or had entered it too soon? Do we know what the markings were on that? Were they intending to stay in that lane and turn left?
That I do not know.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Hines.
All right. So there was only one witness to the accident, and it was my girlfriend in the passenger seat. So the kid, he was working for Jimmy John's. He was clocked in. He was not paying attention. It was obvious. I looked in my rearview mirror. We both entered the lane at the same time. I believe he had his mom come in after the accident, and she kind of guided him on what to say here. It wasn't perfect, but we both got in. He was a decent ways back, and he was going pretty fast. We had enough time for me to get in the lane, be secured in the lane. He was driving past multiple establishments in a turn lane, speeding, and I was able to say, quote, "Yo, this guy is coming in."
Sounds plausible. Looks good. Good terminology. Calm demeanor. Tried to work a little speculation in. So far, I like this guy.
And hot. and my girlfriend can account for that. And then a couple seconds went by, and then bam, the impact happened. I didn't say anything during the crash because I was driving my girlfriend's car. She was late for school. I was trying to get her back, and I was just kind of like flustered. You know, accident just happened. I was driving my girlfriend's car, and I was afraid that, you know, we were gonna get in trouble for that. But that's why I didn't speak up on me being already in the lane when he rear-ended me.
Officer Padla, can you again tell me what the damage was?
The damage didn't, from my memory, it didn't seem to be too severe. I just know that the impact to the vehicles was Unit 2 was the front passenger corner, and Unit 1 was the rear driver corner. So
hitting sideways, not a rear end.
Correct.
Okay. You understand the difference there, Mr. Hines?
Yes, so I do have pictures on that. When the officer got there, I had already ripped off the fender because it was in the way of the wheel being able to turn. It looks like the corner damage.
More good solid responses with offer proof. I'm starting to like this guy doing a pro se.
But it was really just the back, and it was very minor cosmetic damage. But I peeled off a lot of the bumper on the driver's side just so we could, you know, get to driving it. But I do understand what he's saying there.
Okay. So let me just make sure I understand your testimony, Mr. Hines. You were traveling northbound on Carpenter, entered the left turn lane to turn left on, I'm assuming on Packard.
Yeah.
Or were you going to turn left on Washtenaw?
We were going to turn, I didn't need to get into the turn lane, but I thought I did because there's two turning there. We were going to go on the highway and go southbound on 23.
So which of the left turn lanes did you get into? There are two lanes that turn left.
Yeah, so one of the lanes is like a current driving lane, which I didn't realize was a turn lane. I couldn't see coming up. So I got into where you pass the yellow lines into the into the middle of the road.
Okay.
And when I did go in, I did notice
the furthest lane to the left is the one that you ended up in.
Yep.
Okay. And you're saying that you saw this other vehicle enter the lane, or you saw the other vehicle already in the lane?
When I was entering, I saw him entering the lane. He was further back, though. So it wasn't like he was right behind me. There was a few cars in between. So when I was getting over, I noticed that he was also getting over. He might have been, you know, it couldn't have been exact same time, but he was getting over. He might have saw it at the last moment and tried to turn a little bit left to where it might have caused that kind of passenger side damage on his car and the driver's side damage on my car.
How far back do you think he was when you both entered that lane?
When we were both entering the lane, he was about 3 cars back, and I was securely in the lane when I rechecked my rearview mirror and saw him, and I noticed that he was coming up fast. He had to be distracted, must have been texting. I don't know, he was delivering.
I don't want you to speculate about what was happening in his car. That doesn't help me.
Okay, so I noticed that he was, when I rechecked my rearview mirror when we were both already in the lane, that he was coming in hot. And then I commented on it. Okay. A couple seconds passed and then impact.
All right. Officer Padlaha, is this, I know you didn't witness this, is this version of events plausible given what you saw at the scene?
Potentially, yes, it's plausible.
All right. I'm going to find you not responsible today, Mr. Hines. You're all set.
Thank you.
And you win! Dun 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 dun!
All right.
And that's how you do a good pro se, aka representing yourself. You don't go off still, you don't act like you're obstinate crazy, and you win. Alright, let's go to Judge Simpson's court. We've had him on many times for a couple chuckles.
I was going to have a good day. You almost had a bad one.
Thank you for not giving me a bad day, Your Honor.
Well, yeah, you can thank everybody involved that they stopped you from talking like you knew something. All
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, he's to test today. That's it. He's to test today. Continuous testing. Court calls the case, People versus Doreen McPherson.
Mr. Blanche, parent on behalf of people.
Miss Blanche is showing up today, friend. All right.
I'm still here like the bad penny that always turns up.
Like the bad petty? Oh, jeez, okay. Alright, let's see if we actually have some real decent court or not. Let's go over to here. Just a second, gotta find this one. Alright. So we had what to do in court, now what not to do.
This matter. I showed him. I have not had any access.
Hold on just a second, let me get it back to where it started.
All right.
Here we go.
We're on the record in the state of Washington versus Max Tracy, 21-1-141, 21-1-274, and 21-1-446. Mr. Tracy, at our hearing last week, you indicated that you were having trouble accessing the legal research program that is available over at the jail, and that it was interfering with your ability to get ready for trial. Our court administrator, Mr. Seedy, went over to the jail just minutes after our hearing last Friday, and he was able to get onto the program, and it was functioning as intended.
In other words, we don't believe you.
And he
Correct.
was also informed by the jail, the correction staff, that they were not aware of any problems with the legal research software or programs. So I don't know if you've tried to access it this week, but the information I have is that it's working as intended, and you should be able to access that material.
I'm putting in Meg Heights all the way from the 30th every day to today. Lieutenant Byrd himself came and talked to me about this matter. I showed him. I have not had any access to this law library at all whole week long. I put in Heights just asking for law literature. Maybe see if I understand if your computer's down, then can I access some books? I have, the prosecutor filed a motion with me, and I was just trying to be prepared to defend myself against this motion, or at least know what's going on, because I'm new to this stuff, but I know for 100% fact that this law library has been down since March 26th, and it's still down. I have the grievance with Lieutenant Bird's signature stating that it's down, and he stated that today.
I will communicate with Lieutenant Byrd.
Okay.
All right. But we're going to set trial dates today.
Okay.
Mr. Walker, in what order would you request these trials be scheduled?
Your Honor, I would request, I'm sorry, give me just one moment. I would request that they just proceed in numerical order. They occurred in that order. That's when they were filed. I anticipate that the matters will take no longer than 2 days apiece. That, of course, notwithstanding my motion to join the matters. And Mr. Tracy, I don't know if Mr. Tracy's confused by my motions or if he understands that. Basically, I'm just asking to do everything in one trial instead of three. I don't know if he has a position on that.
Mr. Tracy,
here we go.
the prosecutor is suggesting that we take all three of your cases and try them as one. Do you have any objection to that?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe.
Just a second. Sorry. Tell me what the basis of your objection is.
Well, they happened in three. One happened in March, allegedly. One happened in July, allegedly. One happened in December, allegedly. And I feel like that'd be very prejudicial to my case.
Okay.
100%. I feel like I believe the motion was under Rule 4.3, the joinder of the offenses, and Rule 4.31, the code of trial. I just feel that it'd be very improper and it wouldn't give me a fair chance. It'd be totally prejudicial against my whole case.
All right, here's what we're going to do today.
That is just spectacular. The 100% really got me. I think it'd be prejudicial, but no basis. I mean, the judge asked him explicitly. He did look up the rule, and he does realize that he wants to say that, but you'd have to give some reason for the prejudice. Otherwise, you've just made no argument. You just say it's prejudicial because prejudice. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Although I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think this guy's sovereign citizen, or is this just a straightforward bad pro se argument? Tell me in the comments below.
Your Honor, we already have a motion hearing scheduled for this coming Friday for Mr. Tracy's motion to dismiss for governmental misconduct.
Right.
Oh, boy, that's going to be a humdinger. Okay, Annie is asking very nicely for you to like, subscribe.
Okay, it's a normal puppy one. This one I'll allow.
Ignore Annie. You do realize
Because
that is considered
capital felony treason. Yes.
Good morning, sir. Are you Travis Allen Worth?
Yes.
I'm Judge Middleton. This is file 21587SM. This is an unscheduled matter, at least unscheduled for this morning. This is file 21587. The defendant is charged with domestic violence. Domestic violence is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Mr. Paul Gibson is here on very short notice, which I appreciate, Mr. Gibson. Ms. Davis has not been able to log in. I'm not sure she's running behind, and they're going to try to get somebody here, but I've got...
Yeah, she's probably playing with her goat.
docket that starts at 9. Anyway, Mr. Wirt just showed up here this morning and said, well, I'm here to see the judge. So I said, we'll put him in the conference room, and then we'll line up Mr. Gibson. So this matter was set for a jury trial on Wednesday. Mr. Gibson was here. Ms. Davis was here. I was here. Bailey Wirt was here.
I'm assuming he
Travis
wasn't.
Wirt was not.
I was going to say, I'm assuming the defendant
I called him
wasn't.
up and said, hey, where are you? And he said, this isn't set for today, it's set for 1:15. Well, he was confused because it was set for 1:15. I mean, it was set for 8:30 on Wednesday morning. Mr. Gibson had been trying to get a hold of Mr. Wirt without any success. Anyway, he didn't show up, so obviously we didn't have a jury trial. There was discussion that the prosecution had offered disturbing the peace. So Mr. Gibson attempted to schedule Mr. Wirt to come in yesterday afternoon when the court had time to address this matter. Again, Mr. Wirt didn't show up. So he rolls in this morning and says, well, here I am. So here we are. Mr. Gibson, my understanding from the record we made on Wednesday is that the prosecutor has offered to dismiss the charge of domestic violence for a plea to disturbing the peace. Mr. Wirt, disturbing the peace is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It does not carry a firearm restriction. Mr. Gibson, have you had an opportunity to discuss that plea offer with the defendant?
I did discuss that with the defendant, yes. And Attorney Davis had indicated that as part of that offer that she was recommending some type of a short probation because she was asking the defendant to have to participate in an anger management class. And so when I explained the potential plea to the defendant, I believe that he did not wish to take the plea because he did not believe that it was fair for him to be put on probation or to have to do an anger management class.
Wow. That is an incredibly generous offer from our good friend Deborah Davis. That she's reducing the charge and basically saying a short probation and an anger management class for a guy who missed his trial. They could have proceeded in absentia. They didn't. I understand why, but they didn't. But then he misses the trial. He misses the next day when he says he's going to come in to fix it, and then he shows up unannounced with a hat on. Unbelievable. If he would have accepted that deal, the judge would have taken the plea right there, and he would have walked out of court.
All right. Mr. Wirt?
Yeah.
Are you going to accept the offer of disturbing the peace?
No.
All right.
Okay.
But we'll have to set this for trial. First of all, you're in contempt of court for you failed to appear for court on 2 separate occasions. You roll in here on a Friday morning at 8 o'clock like it's a haircut you just drop in and get. You're sitting there with a hat on and no friggin' clue about how to be respectful to the court. The prosecutor's offered a disturbing the peace. You're not willing to accept it. You're so clueless. You weren't in contact with your lawyer. We almost brought in 36 jurors for a jury trial that we were prepared to do. You're declining to accept the prosecutor's plea offer. I find you're in contempt for failing to appear for your court hearing on Wednesday. I'm going to order 2 days in jail for contempt starting right now.
Do what?
You're going to jail!
Go to jail for contempt for failing to appear for court.
I got my dates mixed up. I have 2 different.
Well, yes, you did. So you'll have some.
And now you're going to pay for them.
That's classic Judge Middleton. He chews them out, but his tone is so mellow, he doesn't even realize as it's going down.
2 days, credit 0, starting right now. We squandered a jury day because of your negligence. The prosecutor wants an anger management. I wasn't. The complaining witness who was here at the courthouse, drove over here for your jury trial that you didn't show up for. So we'll set the matter for a jury trial on another day, but you're going to jail right now for 2 days for jerking the court around and not respecting the process. You don't just, I got my days mixed up and then just roll in when it's convenient for you.
I won't. So, it wasn't that it was convenient. I was in contact with Gibson.
Shut up! You're going to jail.
The only ride that I had up here had a heart attack, so I couldn't.
Oops, I'm sorry, Deputy Schrader. Good morning. Mr. Wirt's in the conference room. He's on with you. He gets 2 days in jail for contempt. So we have to call somebody to come pick him up. All right, thanks. Yeah. All right, Mr. Wirt, you're entitled to have your jury trial, and we'll set one up. One option is just leave you in jail to make sure you show up for your jury trial.
Oh, that'd be cool, Your Honor.
Recently, but you did actually eventually show up.
I was in contact with Paul the whole time, too.
Then why didn't you show up for court on Wednesday?
Because he's an idiot, Your Honor.
Jury trial, and you're not. That's what call you, wake you up. So you got to do 2 days in jail for failing to appear. You don't accept the prosecutor's office of disturbing the peace.
Because he's an idiot.
And you don't have to. So we'll set it for jury trial. I'll work on that with your lawyer. Stay in contact with your lawyer. I don't want you to miss another court date. But you've got a couple days to think about showing up respectfully, on time, with no hat on, and understanding there's some gravity to the process.
I didn't even know that we were doing court right now.
Well, we are doing this call. All right. Good luck.
Well, there you have it. Two spectacularly bad court appearances, tailor-made for Law Talk with Mike. I just enjoyed both of those. I liked the first guy. I really liked the 100% comment was my favorite, and the second one, I liked him saying, "I didn't know we were having court." Like he couldn't pick up the social cues that it was Judge Middleton on the bench in his black robe after calling the case. Those things should have tipped you off that maybe we're having a hearing right now.
Here at Law Talk, we like to have fun.
Thank you, Mikey. We appreciate you. And with that, we're going to bring this case to a close. Well, yeah, that'll work. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be kind to one another. Release the Krakens as we do march along here from day one. Coming up in the evening, I've got some UK frauditors online to show that it ain't just Americans that go ahead and screw up, but we'll probably pad out the end of the day with an old classic of PayPal Petty. And in the overnight, Art Bell has a new topic. We'll go back to Dark Matter, the Sirius XM show, for another look at UFO, ufology, and extraterrestrials. That's what's coming up later today on From Day One as we march through Dominion. So until then, release the Krakens, rock on, and be kind to one another as we march along here from Day One. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tonight for the Frauditors, Auditors, and Soft Sids.